Chapter 1 Starting Point, Valley of the Gods. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Starting Place, Valley of the Gods, West Sea, Valley of the Gods. A large number of warships have surrounded this place, the flag of the world government flutters in the wind, and the black and blue cross symbol is very dazzling under the reflection of the sun. On the island, 2 high mountains stand here, and the steep mountain walls are as sharp as a knife and an axe. The sky is dark and cloudy, as if a downpour will come at any time. In this dimness, a flash of light suddenly flashed, the space was distorted, and a strange light burst out. In the light curtain, a huge ship slowly emerged. It was made of black metal materials. The hull was as smooth as a mirror, but there was no reflection at all, which looked mysterious and solemn. Boom. The light curtain in the sky disappeared abruptly, and with the sound of a heavy object falling to the ground, the mysterious black ship ran aground in the canyon. Looking closer, a gear-like mark was engraved on the hull, indicating the owner of the ship. Ahem, this time the noise is a bit loud. Accompanied by a cough, a figure walked out of the cabin, and the dust around him could not cover the pale blue eyes, a head of pink short hair, which looks both individual and full of vitality, and a pair of glasses seems to add a bit of bookish air to him. But this impact experiment is considered a success. This level of impact can no longer cause any impact. Now it's time to try another aspect. The corners of his mouth rose slightly, and he patted his chest with great satisfaction. With a burst of blue light, the exoskeleton armor-like equipment seemed to enter a new mode, but before he could conduct the next round of experiments, he realized some new problems. The environment here is completely different from the place where he moored the ship before. Again, it seems that this is not the first time he has experienced this kind of thing. The man did not seem panicked. He glanced at the dashboard on his wrist that monitors his physical condition. After confirming that he was not dreaming, he began to check the equipment on the ship. The compass is damaged, the power supply system is partially damaged, the defense system is operating normally, and no supplies are lost. It's not bad, not as bad as I thought, but where is this place? There is no such thing in Bilgewater. Ionia. The man was wondering where he was sent to and tried to repair the damaged compass, but at this time, a shout came from a distance. Brother, do you want to sail away from here? Give up, that's impossible. The Navy has surrounded the Valley of the Gods for a long time. It's impossible for the ship to leave here. Hee-ha. Although the cliff on the side is steep, there are several natural rock platforms. At this time, on a relatively low platform, a slightly exaggerated big face has been exposed. At this time, a big-faced man was lying on the edge of the cliff and waving here, and there was another person behind him to hold him to prevent the big-faced man from falling directly from above. As the word Valley of the Gods entered his mind, the man also realized something wrong. Such as the language spoken here was not the language he usually used, it's just that he is proficient in many languages. So this is not a problem. The man's name is Sidilir Oran. As expected, he has no father or mother. He finally passed the postgraduate entrance examination, but encountered a reopening incident on the eve of graduation. His soul came to the world of League of Legends, Piltover in Valoran, a city with highly developed commerce and technology. This time, Oran also received the double blessing of the orphan buff. There are many mysteries on this magical continent. One night, Oran discovered his talent, Dream. This is also the reason why Oran first determined whether he was in the dream world. Every night, he will fall asleep. Unlike ordinary people, Oran's dreams seem to connect to fantastic places, and even exceed the limitations of time and space in some areas. Through countless nights, his knowledge has grown rapidly, and he has gradually emerged in Piltover and become a rookie whose reputation is catching up with Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger has a significant academic status in Piltover, and all of them are real talents and knowledge, which can be said to be the best evaluation of newcomers. Previously, Orlan personally led a ship to Bilgewater to purchase a batch of special materials and planned to negotiate a new business. Unexpectedly, after an experiment in his spare time, Orlan seemed to encounter that mysterious incident again. Even his body underwent some changes in the process, becoming much younger and returning to the appearance of 16 or 17 years old. Due to his dream ability, Orlan's memory is quite good. Even if more than 20 years have passed since he came to Valoran, He still remembers some previous things, including the term Valley of the Gods, but it is limited to major events, such as the final result of a certain war. He can't remember the specific details. There are two people who questioned Orlan, in addition to this strange-behaving big-faced man with an afro. There is also a little girl who looks dirty and has a target painted on her clothes. Don't be stunned, brother, my goal is to survive. You don't want to wait for death here, do you? If that's the case, I won't waste time here, hee. After confirming that Orlan had noticed him, the big-faced man stood up and made a strange move, continuing to wait for Orlan's answer. Let me first clarify one thing. What are your names? My name is Ginny, and this is my older brother Ivankov. Is this something important? And little brother, shouldn't you tell me your own name? Or should I just call you brother? Ginny was still stuffing food into her mouth when she asked. The dark food didn't look appetizing, but she ate it with relish. Just call me Oran. Let's talk about it later. Your goal is to survive, so you have to have a plan, right? That with the slightly familiar name and the address of the Valley of the Gods, Oran could already judge the time and specific events at this time, and was completely sure of where he had arrived. Compared to the birthplace of the world of Valoran that he had previously suspected, this place could be said to be terrible. Ivankov has not yet become the Monster King, but his face is eye-catching enough. According to Oran's memory, Ivankov must have escaped successfully, otherwise there would be no future Monster King. However, he did not intend to follow the other party directly. It is better to seek help from others than to ask for yourself. Only himself is the most reliable. Now that he appears here, he is already a variable. It is not a wise move to put the future on others. Oran also remembers some of the situation in the Valley of the Gods. Whether it is a big pirate like Rox or Roger, or a navy like Garp, or one of the 5 old stars, Sartan, almost all named characters in the future will be there. This saw their presence, but they have one thing in common. No one cares about the ordinary people on the island. If they don't want to be wiped out by the world government, they have to rely on themselves. Oran needs Ivankov and the others to provide some specific conditions on the island so that he can study his own countermeasures. If there is enough time, the things he brings on board can cope with this situation. The reason why Ivankov took the initiative to find them was also very simple. He knew that he and Ginny alone were not capable of escaping from here, so he needed some helpers to form an escape team. Whether they are slaves or the original residents of the Valley of Gods, they are the prey of the celestial dragons, so they naturally have a common stance. While looking for their companions, they were attracted by the sounds here. When Ivankov and Ginny arrived here, they saw the black ship that had already completed the journey. With the help of trees and canes, Ivankov and Ginny slid down the gentle slope and came under the ship where Oran was. The dark hull is different from the mainstream hulls on the sea, and the metallic luster is even rarer, but before they could think too much, Oran dropped the rope ladder from above, looked at each other, and the two climbed onto the deck of the ship one after the other. However, the formal meeting was not very friendly. As soon as their feet stepped onto the deck, the seemingly tight-fitting deck flipped over, and 2 black gun barrels protruded from it and aimed at them. Don't be nervous. It's just the automatic defense mechanism on my ship. Come on up. They won't attack you unless you act aggressively. Looking at Ivankov and Ginny who were at a loss, Oran motioned for them to relax. The waters of the Valoran continent are not peaceful, and Oran's ship is naturally equipped with a lot of heavy firepower. This is why he dares to let outsiders board his ship. In a sense, this is also a way to remind strangers not to mess around. The panic disappeared in Ivankov's eyes, replaced by a kind of joy. In this case, meeting a person with a large number of weapons is not a bad thing. Don't look at it for now. If necessary, I will naturally let them play their due role. So now, is it time to talk about the information you have? Oran could see what Ivankov was thinking. Oran didn't care about some weapons. As long as they worked. In this case, there is nothing wrong with sharing some supplies toward the end goal. Let me tell you, you probably don't know this. All in all, those Tianlong people will organize such an event every once in a while. Disobedient slaves, criminals, or natives of the country chosen as a site will all become their prey. In 3 weeks of hunting, the entire island will be slaughtered by them, and the island will become the new territory of the world government. Jinny told her own information. It takes a certain amount of time for Tianlong to select a site and prepare for activities. The journey to the destination also takes time. It was this time that allowed Jinny and Ivankov to see some opportunities. The Tianlong people will give out prizes to the winners of the event, and those prizes are the key to our escape. Prize, that while listening to Jinny's plan, Oran also rechecked the equipment on the ship. In this case, Oran wanted to confirm that there was something on the ship that could be used to prevent accidents from happening. Yes, I am an expert in stealing and eavesdropping. 2 of the prizes are the most powerful devil fruit that can transform into the phantom beast blue dragon when eaten. There is also a meatball fruit that can send you or others flying to a distant island. As long as we grab these 2 fruits, we can escape with the power of the fruit. If we are lucky, we can get dozens more people out. Not impossible. Having said this, Jinny waved her hand to the sky as if to cheer her up, as if this would increase her confidence. Shibulu, little brother, this is our plan. Can the cannon on your ship be removed? The prize is in the center of the island. It won't work if we don't prepare it properly, we need more people. Ivankov looked up and down the things on Oran's ship. Everything here was new to him. Whether it was the special materials or the equipment on the ship, they were things he had never seen before. Jinny's movements were not as obvious as his, but there was also curiosity in her eyes that could not be hidden. Those weapons are not suitable for mobile use. Come with me. I do have some things that can be used here. I just want to share my ideas with you. I'll remind you in advance, don't touch things randomly, it will be bad if you get hurt. Oran led the 2 to the direction of the cabin. As Oran said, they followed Oran carefully. The previous automatic defense artillery still had a certain effect. Even if they were curious about the things on the ship, Ivankov and his team did not touch them, and temporarily buried the problem in their hearts. Due to the damage of part of the power supply system, the cabin was a little dim. The unknown environment made Jinny a little nervous, but she continued. I have already spread the news before. I hope that the prize can attract other people. Anyway, this is it for the time being. Do you have anything to add? Jinny and Ivankov's plan has no details yet. After all, it is absolutely impossible to succeed with only the 2 of them, so they only made a rough framework. First of all, it is certain that ordinary ships cannot leave here, right? Well, the warships have surrounded this place. I don't know how strong those people are. It may be difficult to fly out. Your ship looks powerful, but it can't withstand that kind of firepower. Ivankov's face was very ugly. Their plan only found a glimmer of hope in despair, and did not change the situation from the root. So, what do you think of this? After walking through a corridor, Orlan returned to his studio, took out a pair of spherical objects from the box on the table, and fixed them on the table. The surface of the sphere is not a single metallic color, but is covered with complex golden decorations. These decorations present a sophisticated mechanical texture, as if telling some unknown story. As Orlan pressed a switch, some cracks appeared on the sphere, and through the gap, a faint blue glow could be seen in the center. In the puzzled eyes of Ivankov and Jinny, Ora casually picked up a screwdriver on the table and placed it on one end of one of the spheres. The next moment, with the sound of gears rotating, the brilliant blue light condensed like ripples. The screwdriver was gradually assimilated by the light. The gears on the outside of the other sphere began to rotate, and the port also lit up at this moment. As the dots of blue light condensed again, the screwdriver appeared intact on the opposite side of the other sphere. Brothers need to follow up during the new book period. The mechanism of the website is like this: 4,000 words per day during the new book period, 2 chapters per day, and the update time will be fixed as much as possible afterwards. Chapter 2 Hextech Flying Door. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This, teleportation. Ivankov's big face was full of surprise. He realized that he and Jinny were lucky. With this thing, the success rate of escape could be said to increase exponentially. That's right, it's teleportation. This is a model. I don't know whether it's good or bad luck. The parts on my ship just happen to be used to build this device. The airship and ship can't get out slowly, but they can't stop this kind of teleportation. What Olin holds in his hands is the model of the Hex flying gate. In the dream, Olin has experienced various time and space, but the area where he usually lives is Piltover, where Hex technology is the foundation. Originally, Piltover had a Hex flying door. The principle was to use the energy erupted from the Hex core to accelerate the airship, allowing it to reduce the time consumed on the road. On this basis, Olin conducted a new round of research and development. Hex technology is very special. Its power is only limited by the user's imagination, and it contains infinite possibilities, from powering machines to generating beams that can cut through the toughest steel. Hextech makes a difference in countless areas, and due to technical reasons, even Hex craftsmen from the same school will have different techniques. It can be said that every Hex work is unique. Compared with the original flying door, the flying door studied by Olin aims to teleport directly, which is more like the way in the game to teleport the hero to a designated location. Originally, he went to Bilgewater to discuss business in this area. Because of his confidence in this technology, he directly brought the finished parts with him. Transferring goods directly to the warehouse is much faster than moving them from the ship. Great, in that case. Ivankov seemed to see a bright future, but Olin immediately poured cold water on it. Don't be too quick to be happy. I haven't finished speaking yet. Although my research direction is to directly transmit the human body, and I have achieved experimental success, 2 interfaces are needed for stable transmission. At present, it seems that we have no way to send out another port. In this case, we can only send people randomly. I can guarantee that people will be sent to a general area, but which island in the area you are teleported to depends on your luck. After spreading his hands, Olin looked a little helpless. After all, the purpose of developing this technology was not to escape in an emergency. Without preparation, it would eventually be subject to certain restrictions. It's not a big deal. I don't think there's any island worse off right now. Ginny thinks this is not a problem. The mortality rate of staying here is 100%. As long as you can get out, anywhere is better than this place. After excluding places like the Red Earth continent and the Navy headquarters, I don't know how high the survival rate will be. Second question, I need time. Compared with the previous unstable transmission, this problem worried Oran more. At least in terms of unstable teleportation, the problem of horizontal positioning has been solved. People will not be inexplicably teleported to high altitudes or into buildings. As long as they are not too violent and Mercury is retrograde, they can land safely. However, Ivankov and the others did not seem to understand why Olin found this difficult. Don't you have ready-made parts on your ship? We can also help with assembly. Raising his arms, Ivankov seemed to want to show that he was strong enough to be a laborer. Do you think this technology is as simple as building a toy? This device was originally used to transport goods alone, and some modifications are needed to transport the human body. Especially the Hex core that drives this device, which is the source of power. Its power output must be changed to enable human teleportation. This is something only I can do. Olin picked up the model on the table and skillfully dismantled it. A blue crystal the size of a bottle cap was floating inside. This is the core of the device. Such a small piece is enough to drive this fantastic technology, but the real object is much larger than this. Oran put away the miniature Hex core and motioned for the 2 to continue following him, and soon led them to the warehouse on the ship, where the parts of the Hex flying door were stored. Dozens of huge boxes are neatly arranged inside, even the smallest one is taller than Ivankov. Ordinary people outside the core can do some things, but you 2 alone can't help much. Oran pulled off the dustproof cloth, opened one of the boxes and showed Ivankov and the others the huge metal parts. The size of the large device that connects 2 different city-states is far exaggerated compared to Oran's model. The parts of these flying doors take up most of the space of the ship. Looking at the gear parts that were taller than himself, Ivankov also became silent, but Ginny remained optimistic about it. So in addition to time, you also need some manpower, right? That's right. It's best to have ready-made skilled workers, whether it's shipwrights, blacksmiths, or carpenters. There should be quite a few on this island. My requirements are not high, as long as I can understand the drawings. If there are some basics, it is not complicated to teach them how to assemble. Now Olin even misses the other employees on his ship. If they are here, it will be much more convenient. It's just that during the break last night, they were all driven to the hotel on the dock by Olin. Only Olin himself was still doing experiments on the ship, so now Olin was alone. Your plan should continue. If you do it in 2 ways, the probability will be higher. But no matter what you do, it is necessary to recruit some people. No one will die here willingly. There should be many people who are willing to fight. After taking out some things that might be useful from the side, Oran began to further arm himself. He had some fear of insufficient firepower, which could be said to be a national genetic problem. It stands to reason that it is like this, but those guys are celestial dragons. There are probably not many who have the courage to resist. Ivankov raised his concerns. Since the establishment of the world government, hundreds of years of rule have made the celestial dragon's position deeply rooted, and according to the intelligence Ivankov has, the celestial dragons will use the lie of giving freedom after surviving for 3 weeks to let the prey escape and increase their own fun. The false hope given by the celestial dragons may make many people give up resistance and be willing to escape. The life and death of such people has nothing to do with us. What, do you still want to save everyone? Olin never thought that he was a selfless person. He would not sacrifice himself for a group of irrelevant people, under the premise of sufficient ability. Orlan also does not mind helping the other party, provided that the other party has the same idea as himself and has the same goal. For example, Ivankov and Ginny are planning an escape operation. Their goal is to leave here. At the same time, Ginny and others can provide relevant information here, so they can naturally form a temporary alliance, subjectively give up resistance, leave fate to the enemy, and pray for mercy from the other party. In Orlan's view, this idea means that he has given up hope of escape, and he will respect the other party's idea. As long as they don't hinder him, Orlan won't care about these people. Ivankov also understands this truth. As slaves, there are people like him and Ginny who are unwilling to accept their fate and take the opportunity to resist, and there are also people who have already accepted their fate and live like zombies. The current situation is not optimistic. The future time is almost a countdown to death. They can't waste all their time on a group of people who accept their fate. If I have the ability, I really want to do it, but it's unrealistic. In fact, I think if even one of us can escape, it will be a great victory. After a little sigh, Ivankov still chose to face reality. That's no problem. People who don't want to fight for themselves are not worth saving. But your goal is too small. I don't want to escape in such a shame. What do you want to do? This world has given me such a special gift when I first arrived, so of course I have to give a return gift of sufficient weight. The blue pupils became a little deeper, and no one could tell what Oran was thinking. What do you mean by return gift? No matter what, the word return gift in this situation is too strange. This world is just some weird habits in Ivankov's ears. There are many such people on the sea, and Ivankov himself is an example. But the word return gift is not appropriate at all. Even Ivankov himself did not realize that soon after, the word return gift had a new definition in his cognition. In addition to making people happy, gifts can also be fatal. The new book period needs to catch up with the brothers. This is the mechanism of the website, so the update frequency is relatively slow during the new book period. The new book period is 4,000 words per day, 2 chapters a day. There will be one more today, and the update time will be as fixed as possible afterwards. Chapter 3. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Desperate situations will make people give up, but as long as there is hope, the desire to survive will prompt the body to fight. It just so happens that I can give this hope. Compared to your and Ginny's plan, don't you think that a ready-made model of escape plan can convince them more? Visible objects can always convince others better than simple plans. While saying this, Orlan also took them to another cabin. The things here are slightly messy, and the types are also varied. Machine-made lotus, strange parts, purple fluorescent potions, eggs of unknown creatures, mysterious green fruits, and several crawling green Beetles can be seen. Olan picked up two short cannon-like things and handed them to Ivankov and Ginny, and then put away the lotus. You're right, but what does this have to do with the return gift? The Feynman plan is to tell the natives here that we have a practical way to leave here, but this is not enough. The people who caused all this are the celestial dragons. Ignoring them is a bit embarrassing for me. There is not much emotional change in Oran's eyes, and even his tone is very calm, but if Oran's old employees see this, they will realize that their boss is now in a very unhappy state, and his bottom line has obviously been broken. According to convention, people who offend their bosses like this never have a good end. Whether it is the alchemist Baron of Zaun or the counselor of Piltover, Oran always has a way to fight back. Do you want to? It's a very simple truth. Whatever they want to do, I will make them unable to do it. The celestial dragons want to exterminate this island, so I will take some people away within my ability. The celestial dragons regard this place as a hunting ground, and I will break the myth of them here. Thought if I didn't know what the current situation was, Ivankov would think that Oran was like that hunter. He felt that Oran had a special self-confidence. In fact, Orlan also intends to use actions to prove the identity of hunter and prey, which is not as simple as it seems. The celestial dragons are world nobles and are protected by the navy. Attacking the celestial dragons will attract the admiral of the navy. This is common sense on the sea. In the cognition of many navy, protecting the celestial dragons is also one of their responsibilities. After years of influence, even if the celestial dragons want to take away everything from them, many people dare not resist. Even if Ivankov has the idea of resistance, his goal at this time is just to escape and prevent the celestial dragons from achieving their goals. But these ideas can't affect Orlan. Whether it is the original world or the life of Valoran, it is the same, especially in the life of Valoran. Whether it is the territory of demigods or the noble Protoss, humans have never sat back and waited for death, and there are far more than one people who have killed gods. Break the myth. Do you want to? Looking at the short cannon in his hand, coupled with Ora's remarks, Ivankov thought of a result that he dared not think of at all, but he still wanted to confirm this result from Orlan. They all have one head on two shoulders. If they can kill people, can't we kill them? They are descendants of the original 20 kings, but so what? The glory of their ancestors is not an aura of invincibility. You also said that there will be 200 celestial dragon hunters scattered everywhere on this island. I admit that our current capabilities are not enough to deal with those top elites, but the celestial dragon group is full of waste, and it is still possible to kill such guys. Hebulu. This is really an unexpected plan. No one knows what happened in the more distant history, but after the failure of Joy Boy in the blank 100 years, there was almost no voice against the celestial dragons in this sea. More than 100 years ago, a mysterious robot attacked the Red Earth continent, but in the end it was fruitless. Olan's exaggerated idea has not appeared for too long. Olan, you have to live. What are you talking about? I mean, your idea is to break the foundation of the rule of the celestial dragons one day in the future. Even if only you can leave here, it will be a great victory. Ivankov's tone was a little excited. He was only 15 years old and was easily excited by a few words. Olan's words seemed to open the door to a new world for him, but Oran himself did not show any excitement. Don't put that weird high hat on me. I'm just doing it for myself. Wait. Wait. You two calm down first. Isn't our current plan to escape? Although your words are really shocking, Oran, the celestial dragons are not so easy to kill. They must have life cards. If you kill one directly, I'm afraid the navy protecting them on the island will go crazy. At that time, Ginny felt that her elder brother was a little excited with this person who had just met, and even lost his mind. She admitted that Oran's words made sense, but they couldn't bear the consequences of this incident. Of course we won't kill him directly. Even if it's a sacrifice, it will be done before the expedition. But those 200 Tianlong people won't have to sign in every day. We just need to catch one at a suitable time, and then find another suitable time to kill him, and our goal will be achieved. Once the myth is broken, the seeds of resistance will sprout. This is also part of Olan's so-called return gift, but in this sea, it is unknown whether this spark can really ignite. The net gun I just gave you too is a net gun that fires a 90 caliber rope net. It's a Piltover police equipment. It's just that the recoil is a bit strong. I'll try it outside later. If you don't understand anything, I'll teach you how to do it. Oran needs some craftsmen to assist in its assembly, which means more people will gather in one place. Judging from the intelligence brought by Ivankov and Ginny, the celestial dragons called the slaves and aborigines on the island Tuatu and divided them into points. There are 13 SR level rabbits and 150 R level rabbits. A total of more than 100,000 people are the hunting targets of the Tianlong people. In order to obtain more points, densely populated places must be the places where the Tianlong people attack first, and human nature cannot stand the test. No one is sure what a person can do before the threat of death, although some people can stick to their hearts, but in the current situation, there is no room for trial and error. Therefore, before recruiting other people, Oran needs a small group of his own to ensure the operation of specific plans and control the order of the people gathered here. Ivankov and the others, who proposed another plan and shared intelligence, also became Oran's priority. It is indeed a very tough rope net. Those ordinary Dracos shouldn't be able to break free. It's the recoil. I'm afraid Ginny won't be able to use it well. At this time, Oran had already used the cutting machine on the ship to remove the handcuffs of Ivankov and Ginny, taught them how to use the net gun, and showed them some trap props. It didn't take long for Ivankov to become familiar with the recoil of the weapon, but it was still a bit difficult for Ginny at this time. Even an adult woman will be bounced a short distance due to the recoil when the rope net is launched. It is the same series of equipment as the Piltover policewoman Caitlin, but has been slightly modified. Ginny, who was malnourished and young, could not operate this weapon. She mostly used the phone bug in her hand to steal intelligence from the island. The phone bug is one of the unique species in this sea. It lives in various areas. Its body is just a special wild snail. As long as some parts are added, it can become a phone. Ginny used the parts from Oran's ship to complete the modification of the field snail in the Valley of the Gods. After the equipment was enhanced, she also eavesdropped on more information. Those celestial dragons were about to start hunting, but a slave from the Bacania tribe escaped just now, and the direction of escape was probably over there. Ginny checked the simple terrain map and roughly determined a range. At this moment, the headphones she was wearing received new signal fluctuations, which made her look happy. Brother Ivankov, Oran, I found a lot of signal fluctuations in the nearby waters. It seems that the news that was spread before has been received. Hip. That's good news. It's better to bring more powerful guys. The more chaos this place gets, the more opportunities we have. With the tools and equipment aboard Oran's ship to support her, Ginny's talents were put to good use. She even contacted the people at the Valley of the Gods shipyard and obtained their specific location, which has now been roughly marked on the terrain map. Ivankov has also mastered the loading and aiming of weapons. Seeing that they are almost ready, Olan is also ready to start the next plan. I hope we can't all focus on the unknown. No matter which plan it is, the three of us are not enough. Let's take action first. Wasn't there another one who escaped? There are still many people who don't want to wait to die. Chapter for the World's Eyes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Go this way, we should meet them soon, but are you just leaving your ship here? Ginny roughly determined the direction, and then looked at Orlan's ship. Although this was originally a canyon with few people, it was still possible to be discovered. Of course I am prepared for this kind of thing. You will know when you get up there. When Orlan and his friends left the bottom of the valley, Ginny was surprised to find that the ship that was originally parked there just disappeared. Hey, where is the ship? It's still there, but I activated the holographic mimicry on the ship. You can't see it unless you go in. With the automatic weapons on the ship, there will be no problem in the short term. Olan vaguely remembered that an unprecedented war would break out on this island, and the entire island would disappear from the map in the end. Otherwise, you can try to hide it like this. Originally, Orlan's ship was moored in an ordinary dock, so there was naturally no need to activate this device, so Ivankov and his friends could see Orlan's ship before. But we have to hurry. Some of the equipment on my ship is damaged, including part of the energy supply system. The backup energy can only last for a while. In addition, take this. Orlan handed Ginny a gas mask, which was a necessity for life in Zaun, an air filter, but at this time it was used to cover the face. Cover your face. I have other plans after I get out. I don't want to be on their wanted list directly. You don't want to be targeted by the minions of the world government after you get out, right? The world government's intelligence control is not strong. After all, they don't even have a grasp of public opinion. It may also be that they think this thing is not worth managing. Theoretically, as long as the blank 100 years are not touched, the world government will not keep a close eye on a person. Orlan did this just to be on the safe side. According to the common face blindness on the sea, he was already respectful of them by wearing a mask. What about mine? Ivankov thought Orlan would give him one, but after waiting for a long time, even Ginny had adjusted the buckle, and Orlan did not move at all. Your face is too big. I don't have a size that fits you. Just cover it with a cloth. It's not that Orlan discriminates against Ivankov, but his body shape, or face shape, is destined to be unable to use ordinary equipment, so he can only use the native method in the end. At the same time, in an open space in the Valley of Gods, there are tall stone pillars everywhere, and sparse shrubs and mosses grow around them. A small stream meanders down the mountain stream, making a gurgling sound of flowing water. Suddenly, a burst of hurried footsteps broke the tranquility here. A boy who is stronger than an average adult but has a very tender face is struggling to escape. There are many scars on his shaved head, and the rags on his body are also full of damage. The chains on his hands and the targets on his clothes show that he is also a slave, and the people chasing him behind him are not the Navy or the Celestial Dragons, but a group of slaves dressed in the same way. Accompanied by a burst of shouting and cursing, a stone flew from behind and hit the boy in the back of his head. As his eyes turned pale, the boy's huge body fell to the grass. The man who chased him from behind seemed to be unsatisfied. He picked up the wooden stick in his hand and smashed it towards the boy's body, cursing. Asshole. The 10-man team has joint responsibility. If you run away, we will all die. Who told you to run away? That the man felt relieved until the wooden root was broken. He called his companions to drag the boy back, but just as he grabbed the boy's feet, a rope net flew from a distance and tied him up tightly. My lord! My lord! We have caught the guy who ran away. Please don't hurt me. We have made up for our previous mistakes. That the man tied up by the rope net not only did not try to break free, but instead lay on the ground and began to pray loudly. The slaves next to him also knelt down neatly at the same time. In the eyes of these people, in the Valley of Gods today, only the Celestial Dragons can do such a thing, and facing the Celestial Dragons, obedience has been engraved into their bones. A bunch of idiots. No one is watching you, but you are willing to work for a group of people who want to kill you. You really like being slaves. A slightly mocking voice came from a distance. The net bullet just now was fired by Orlan. Ginny couldn't bear the recoil of the net gun, so Orlan took the gun and used it himself. Looking at these quite obedient slaves, Orlan had nothing to describe them except pathetic. The boy who fell to the ground also opened his eyes again in a daze. At this time, Ivankov and Ginny had already followed Orlan. Is this a member of the Bacania tribe? It's really big. I heard that you have the blood of the giant tribe. Is it true? Ivankov observed this person curiously. According to the information Ginny had stolen before, the Tianlong people were very concerned about this special prey. Ivan, let's talk about that later. How is it? Can you still stand up? Olin extended his hand to the boy, and the boy seemed to feel the kindness, and he responded and stood up again with the help of Orlan. Thank you, you are. Just some people who are planning to leave here. At least you know how to escape. Do you want to join us? That those who dare not even think about escaping, in Orlan's eyes, have no meaning to fight for. It's good enough that such people don't cause trouble. The boy agreed without thinking. For him, there is no choice at all. Wait. You can't take him away. If he runs away, we can't report to the celestial dragons. Catch them all. Maybe the celestial dragons will be happy and give us some rewards. Not daring to resist the powerful, and using the way of oppressing the weaker to please their masters, this is the choice of some slaves, but even if they wag their tails and beg for mercy, they are still treated as prey in the end. The slaves have more people. After looking at each other, they seem to agree with the idea of the person who spoke before. Several people surrounded here in a semi-encirclement. You guys are really stupid. Even if they catch us, do you think the celestial dragons will let you go? Ivankov pointed his gun at them, but Orlan's action just now showed that the gun fired only non-lethal rope nets, so it did not scare them away. What can we do? There is no way to escape from here. They are celestial dragons. Speaking the weakest words, they still leaned over here. In response, Orlan just raised his arm silently, and the blue round tube embedded in the exoskeleton of his arm began to charge. Bang! With a muffled sound, several sharp ice cones were released from Orlan's arm armor. There was no fierce explosion, but after the ice cones landed, they set off a frost storm in a small area. After a while, only some ice sculptures were left on the ground. Hextech GLP 800, commonly known as the ice gun, is much more lethal than the police net gun, which is driven by the hex core. Having lived in Valoran for so many years and having rich dreams, Orlan will not be merciful when he needs to take action. Now he has no time to entangle with this group of people who are bent on pleasing their masters, so he took a rough solution. Don't be dazed, this is not a simple escape, this is a special war. Since they are determined to become enemies, this is the inevitable result. War will always kill people. Let's go and find some people who are willing to resist. I hope there will be fewer such idiots. After greeting Ginny and a few others, the group continued to walk in the mountains of the Valley of the Gods. Compared with the situation in the Valley of the Gods, the outside world is even more tense. Some time ago, in the New World, the Honeycomb Island Hachinos, because there are an exaggerated number of pirates gathered here, it is also called the Pirate Island by the outside world. And the strongest of these pirates is the Rocks Pirates, who received the news. Released by Ginny, have all begun to march towards the Valley of the Gods. The Rocks Pirates have set sail. They got ahead of us. Hurry up and catch up, this is a big event in the pirate world. Countless pirates filed out, heading from the New World across the calm belt to the West Sea. Soon after, the Navy also received news of the pirates setting sail. In the Navy headquarters, the current Marshal Sora was very annoyed by the intelligence collected by the Navy and fiddled with the Den Mushy in his hand. This is the situation, Garp, although it has not been confirmed yet, but if it is true, it will be troublesome, so I can only ask you for help. Huh? Why would the celestial dragons collectively go to such a remote island? School trip. I won't go, they should have enough guards, what's there to be afraid of? On another island, Garp lay on a recliner very leisurely, with no intention of moving at all. I can't tell you the details, but I heard that Roger also went to that island. What? Why didn't you tell me earlier? I'm leaving now. For a moment, the top forces of the pirates and the Navy began to move towards the Valley of the Gods. A new era of competition seemed to have officially begun from this moment. Chapter 5 Bartholomew Bear. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The pirates have set their sights on the treasure of God Valley. The Navy wants to protect the celestial dragons on the island. Although the reasons are different, countless ships are heading towards God Valley, but this kind of thing did not hinder everything that was going on in God Valley. The celestial dragons' hunting activities are still proceeding step by step. Even if the senior leaders of the team received the news, they did not intend to stop. In their view, these are all trivial matters. The team that captured the Bacchania slaves did not come back, and the celestial dragons did not continue to send people to chase them. In the eyes of the celestial dragons, it is impossible for slaves to escape from this island, so such a big score escape in advance can add some fun to the game. To be precise, from the beginning, the celestial dragons have released some slaves one after another, asking them to hide as much as possible so that their game can be more fun. the number of people in Orlan and Ivankov's team also began to increase. Starting with the escaped Bacchania slave Bartholomew Bear, this man who looked the biggest was actually the youngest in the group. Orlan even took some time to put him into the future timeline. Tyrant Bear, one of the 7 warlords of the sea, like the Lunaria tribe, the Bacchania tribe was also exterminated by the world government because of racial issues, especially the legend of Nika circulated among the Bacchania tribe, which made them a thorn in the eyes of the world government. When Bear was born, someone in the hospital leaked his blood information, which led to the minions of the world government coming to the door. Since then, Bear's family has become slaves, his parents have died one after another, and Bear was also regarded as a slave who needed to be dealt with by the celestial dragons and sent here together. What an exaggerated recovery ability, Bear, is your body okay now? Olin looked at Bear, who looked like nothing happened, and was a little impressed by the physique of this tribe. He was hit in the back of the head by a heavy object and fainted, and was beaten with a stick, but he was able to move freely after a few minutes. Well, it's okay. Thank you for your concern. You are a good person. Since his father was killed by the celestial dragons for making noise, Xiong couldn't remember how long it had been since anyone called him by his name. Slave and Digital Code were his names. Good person. This word doesn't really suit me. Okay, everyone, you should all be clear about the current situation, right? Seeing Xiong suddenly define himself like this, Oran just felt that Xiong was a little naive, and then looked at the people around him. At this time, their number had become more than 20 people, most of them were slaves, and a small number were the indigenous people of the Valley of the Gods who were at a loss. There were people like the group before Xiong who just wanted to wag their tails and beg for mercy from the celestial dragons, and naturally there would be people who were willing to resist and escape. When the opportunity came, they would naturally make different choices. Olin was treating the wounds of some people. In addition to being a scientist, he himself had a good understanding of medical research. Some things involving medicines and prosthetic transformation, Oran was not at ease to leave to others, and he did it himself. Treatment of these people, on the one hand, was to make the subsequent plans smoother, and there was also some goodwill. Under the influence of the first impression, their degree of cooperation will theoretically be higher, and Ivankov is explaining the specific situation here to them. Plunder resources, expel the natives, and play a killing game. There are about 100,000 people on this island. According to the plan of the celestial dragons, all of them will be killed without a single one left in 3 weeks. Unbelievable. But this is reality. You are lucky today. We have 2 ways to survive. Make a decision, everyone. Do you want to join us, or what? Ivankov felt that he had explained the situation very clearly, but some people still had inexplicable fantasies about the celestial dragons. Don't you say that as long as you survive these 3 weeks, you can regain your freedom? Ivankov's words made the small circle of people around him silent. After a brief silence, a middle-aged man took the lead in asking this question. Do you believe this kind of nonsense? This is not the first time that the celestial dragons have done this. In the past history, no one has ever survived. That we are going to kill all of you. Become my target honestly. Of course, the celestial dragons will not say this. The celestial dragon's choice is to tempt these people with freedom. Although they will kill everyone every time, it also means that there is no evidence. After the event is over, they can just say a few words to the remaining slaves in the Holy Land and give them a few false examples, which will make them have more hope for the future and even look forward to this kind of event. Giving hope and then destroying it with their own hands. The celestial dragons enjoy this feeling very much. How could this happen? It's a simple truth. Which would you rather eat, a lifeless fish with its belly turned upside down or a fresh fish full of energy? Only with hope can you run away desperately. This is what those people call a game, but there is no way to win this game. Breaking the rules is the only way out. If you are willing to believe what the celestial dragons say, you can just find a corner and hide yourself. At this time, Oran bandaged the wound of the last person and took over Ivankov's words. I have explained the situation to you. Does anyone want to leave now? After waiting for a while, seeing that no one spoke, Oran understood their thoughts. That's easy. Our goal now is to survive, so no matter men, women, old or young, everyone has to make their own contribution and tell us what they are good at. We are going to prepare for the next action. I don't want anyone to hold us back at this time." Then Oran showed the Hextech flying door model in his hand again to prove the feasibility of the plan. Humans are social creatures. When everyone was at a loss, Oran gave a direction and naturally became the leader in this direction. The locals of God Valley are more familiar with the terrain here. After they summarized the terrain here, the team also began to act separately. Ivankov and Ginny went to the shipyard they had contacted before and brought some craftsmen to the agreed meeting place. The nature of the ship is quite special, and Oran did not want to expose it directly to everyone, and Oran took people to the granary not far away to store some food for emergency use. Before separating, Oran called Ivankov and Ginny aside. As the first people Oran knew, Oran trusted them more. "Ivan, although I gave you a net gun, that gun can also fire different bullets. Sometimes the rope net can't scare the enemy. When necessary, you should dare to shoot. Leave it to me. I won't be polite at that time." Ivan took the special ammunition handed over by Orlan, and Orlan followed closely and took out a few purple injections from the storage box. Chapter 6, Glimmer of Light. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There were 2 potions in the simple little box, and Oran gave 2 potions to Ivankov and Ginny respectively. "What's this?" Ginny raised the glass bottle above her head, and through the sunlight, the lavender light spots in the potion seemed to become brighter. "This is Shimmer, a product of Zaun's alchemy technology." Zaun, like Piltover, is the name of a region. They were originally one, but due to various reasons, they split into 2 parts. Piltover pays more attention to the development of hex technology, while Zaun has given birth to special alchemy technology. Oran lives in Piltover, but he also has a close relationship with Zaun. Oran never felt that Piltover was any more noble than Zaun, nor did he feel that Zaun's technology was backward. He absorbed the advantages of different technologies and used them rationally. Shimmer, what a beautiful name. It looks beautiful, but I don't know how it tastes. Ginny licked her lips. Good-looking things should be delicious. This was a rather simple idea of hers. After all, she had hardly eaten enough for so many years. "This is not food. I give you this just in case. Oran doesn't know what will happen on the island. Even if Ivankov and Ginny have the idea of resisting, they are essentially just underage children. There is no need for those famous characters in the normal timeline, and soldiers with a little training are not something they can handle. There are stronger weapons, but the problem is that in this sea, personal bravery has a great influence. In the case of Ginny and Ivankov, taking 2 powerful weapons may even endanger the enemy, but it will become a foreshadowing. This veil can be used to heal wounds. If you are accidentally injured more seriously, it can save your lives. This is the original purpose of the Glimmer potion, to heal trauma and disease. The alchemist Singed extracted a new substance from the bodies of raised mutant lizards and developed this potion. Just a little bit can exert powerful effects. Olin used the formula he obtained from a dream world to change the composition of the shimmer, reducing its medicinal properties and eliminating addictive side effects, at the cost of increasing the production cost. However, compared to the raw materials that are difficult to obtain in the mutated lizard, it is not a bad idea to reduce the cost. This is good stuff, but what about this big bottle? At this time, such a potion is almost a second life. Ivankov and Ginny carefully put it away, and then looked at another tube of injection. "You guys, it's best not to use it. It's for your desperate use. If you're stuck in a dead situation, just aim for the heart and pierce it. Maybe you can escape. Maybe it's human nature. Whenever a new product appears, humans always think about whether it can be applied in war. What follows closely behind may be CC. The Glimmer potion is no exception. As time goes by, its uses gradually become more complex and dangerous. Once taken in large quantities, the body will undergo unstable mutations. Even if it is improved by Oran, it still retains this effect. A large dose of medicine is injected directly into the heart, and the body will be reborn. gaining strength far beyond what it was before, and who knows what it will be like. The relationship between Zaun and Piltover is very complicated, and there are even constant disputes. Compared to Piltover, Zaun is much worse, and the Shimmer is their weapon against the upper city. We don't have a complete army now, we don't have strong warriors, all we have left is our own bodies. This potion can burn life and turn the body into a better weapon, at least with some strength to resist. Burning life, these 4 words have already explained its price. If it weren't for the special situation now, Olin would not like such unstable things. This is also a good thing, hip-hop. If you really encounter that kind of situation, this is much better than waiting to die. To say that I am not afraid at all would be a lie, but compared to the threat of death, Ivankov was more afraid of being unable to fight back. Even Ginny had the same idea. After putting away Olin's medicine, the two of them walked in the other direction under the leadership of the local residents of the Valley of Gods. Olin gathered the remaining people and prepared to go to the nearby granary to take a look. After a while, Oran and others found a warehouse located in the canyon, which was not a short distance away from where Oran's black ship appeared. The residents of the Valley of the Gods transformed a natural cave into a warehouse. The natural environment made it a natural refrigerator. At the entrance of the cave, a thick iron chain locked the iron door in and out. Click, with a crisp sound, a shark fish man bit the chain directly, and the hard iron chain was as crisp as a biscuit in his mouth. Shaq, it's beautifully done, with outstanding racial talent. Is this the bite power of a shark murloc? It's quite outstanding. Thank you for the compliment, Olin. You know, this is the first time someone has praised me like this. That the fish man, who originally had a fierce look on his face, was a little incoherent at this time. This compliment seemed to make him quite excited, and Shaq also felt that Olin's tone of heartfelt praise for his talent, rather than the discrimination against him from humans he had seen before. Don't be so excited. We still have a lot to do. If I have a chance in the future, I would like you to take me to visit Fishman Island. I long for that island in the deep sea. Yeah, definitely. Several people pushed open the door together. With the light coming in from the cave, neatly stacked boxes appeared in front of them. After checking, they were all well-preserved food. The administrator here did not do anything to enrich himself. At first, Oran was really worried that this was an empty warehouse, which would be a bit troublesome. Now, not only did he not encounter such a bad situation, but Oran even found a lot of white sugar in this warehouse. Everyone, bring more sugar, try to take those dried meats as food, and bring more things as much as you can. We are not sure how long we can stay here. Olin, do you like sweets? At this time, the bear was carrying a huge package behind him. The supplies that were twice his height were carried on his back. The same was true for Shaq on the side. After hearing that Oran wanted to bring more sugar, even his waist was full of bags. Whether it was the power of the giant bloodline of the Bacania tribe or the natural wrist strength of the fishman that was 10 times that of ordinary humans, they all played their roles in this road to survival, but Xiong didn't quite understand why he had to bring more sugar. Although sweet things were great, he felt that they couldn't fill his stomach at all. Bear, sugar is not just sweet, it has many uses, especially in this situation. It is a very important strategic material. Chapter 7. Do your best to change your fate. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Small in size, light in weight, easy to store, high in calories, and can provide a lot of energy to the human body, these white sugars can play a great role in the current situation, and its application is not only here, it can also increase the power of gunpowder explosion and improve the adhesion of incendiary bombs. There are many other places where it can play a role. For the same volume of materials, white sugar can play a significantly greater role. Everyone, work hard. The faster we move now, the higher our survival rate will be. This is not for others, but for your own struggle. That the materials soon filled their shoulders. Orlan himself was also carrying a lot of materials. His exoskeleton had begun to carry at full load, which also made Orlan discover something unusual. His strength seemed to be much greater than before he came to this sea. Orlan planned to give himself a good physical examination after leaving here to determine his current condition. Orlan took them to the gathering place discussed with Ivankov. It was a depression in the canyon that Ivankov and Ginny saw before they found Orlan's ship. It could be used as a temporary gathering place. Now there are more locals in the Valley of Gods in the team. These people are more familiar with the terrain here than Ivankov and Orlan, and even found a path in the canyon. Whether they are strong adults or old and weak, they are all carrying large and small packages. In this case, everyone has to do their part, it's just a matter of how much. Brother Orlan, there is a cave about 200 meters over there. The entrance looks narrow, but it is quite spacious inside. It can hide many people, and there is a spring inside, that when they were about to reach the gathering place, a child who looked no more than 10 years old suddenly pointed to a bush and said, "Spring. How big is it?" "Well, my friends and I sometimes take a bath there, and there are even live fish in it." The boy opened his arms and gestured to Orlan. It seemed that the area of the spring was not small. "Rat. Didn't I tell you not to go to the canyon to play?" Forget it. A woman next to him wanted to scold him, but in this situation, she was not in the mood at all. She was doing housework as usual, but she didn't expect the Valley of Gods to be changed like this. Although she escaped with her child, her husband was a member of the Kingdom Army and is now missing. The tragic reality and the not-so-bright future have put her under great psychological pressure. "Okay, lady, save some energy. Your son has solved a big problem for us." In addition to food, water is also a problem. Although the Valley of Gods has abundant rivers, the celestial dragons also know this. Human life requires water, and the celestial dragons will inevitably hunt prey along the water source. Since there are fish in the spring, it is probably connected to the outside world through the underground river, which can ensure sufficient water. It is best to have such a secret water source. Rat, besides you, how many people know that place? And, have you adults heard of that place before? From Rat's description, it is a good hiding place. If other people also know this place, they may bring more people here, which means that the risk of exposure is increased. Only a few of my friends know about it. I haven't seen anyone there. It's our secret base. I just don't know how they are doing now. No, I've lived here for most of my life, and I haven't heard of any caves in the canyon. The local residents gave answers one after another. According to Rat, he discovered the place when he was playing an adventure game, but the older generation didn't know about it. It seems that the cave was only created in recent years due to geological activities. Olin first took everyone to the agreed gathering place, and then checked the situation of the cave, and included it in the scope of the gathering place. Take the time to rest and replenish your physical strength. We have to move a few more times later. You guys don't have to follow us. Collect fire starters such as dead branches nearby. They will be useful when the time comes. If anyone is familiar with the terrain nearby, come and draw a map for me. The more detailed the better. Along the way, Oran also had a general understanding of their physical fitness. Even if the weak people tried their best to move, they couldn't move much. Fortunately, there are still many places that need manpower. In addition, you have to dig holes nearby. First dig a big hole like this, and then dig a small hole from the other side, penetrate them from the bottom, and then dig 3 linear trenches like this, with coverings on them. There are some tools such as crowbars and shovels in the granary. Oren used these to make a light shielding and smoke dispersing stove for them, that is, a smokeless stove. This can cover up the firelight and cooking smoke to a great extent, further enhancing the concealment effect. Not long after, Oren also received a communication from Ivankov. They had found the workers in the shipyard and were taking them to the gathering place. At this time, Xiong also came over. "What's wrong, Xiong? Is there any problem?" "Nothing, I've rested. I just want to know, what is our next plan?" Looking at Oren who was studying the map, Xiong asked softly. "Tear down some things, and then arrange equipment in these places to hide this area." What Oren wanted to dismantle was nothing else, but his own ship. Although according to the plan, after the construction of the flying gate was completed, the ship could also be transported, but the larger the object, the longer it would take to transport. The ship is certainly very valuable, but for Orlan, with enough materials, it would take some time to build a new one. Orlan finally decided to use the limited transportation capacity to transport the living away, and the ship that came with him would complete its curtain call here. For example, it could be transformed into a huge self-destruct device, and the holographic projection on the ship could also be transformed to cover a larger area from several directions by reducing the image quality, provided that the energy problem is solved first. Orlan briefly talked to Xiong. After all, he would have to explain it again after the craftsmen from Ivankov were brought back. Xiong did not ask any more questions and pointed to the other side. Olan, the person you asked me to pay more attention to, she doesn't respond to me at all, doesn't talk, and doesn't even eat. You should go and see for yourself. She has only responded to you a few words so far. I see. You sit for a while. While the so-called game of the group of Tianlong people has not started yet, we have to make more preparations. Olin stood up and walked to the side. A slightly thin figure sat on a rock with a very vigilant look. When she noticed someone approaching, the hair on her body almost stood up. The update time is roughly fixed around 12 o'clock and 2300 hours. Chapter 8. I want to be the worst villain. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Except for her hair, the girl's entire body is covered in snow-white fur, and there is a pair of cat ears on her head. It is not difficult to see that this is a cat fur slave from the fur tribe. The fur tribe is a race that lives on the back of the Zou giant elephant. In layman's terms, they are orcs. They are very rare in the outside world, but for the celestial dragons, they are even rarer collectibles. The hair on her body looks neat, but there are dense scars under the fur. The moment she noticed someone approaching, her hair stood up like a frightened cat. This is also one of the characteristics of the fur tribe, and they have the same habits as their own animal blood. Seeing that it was Oran coming over, her blown hair recovered a little, perhaps because Oran treated her wounds for her, and she subconsciously felt that Oran could be trusted. Any questions, Kate? These are dried goods made from fish, you should be able to eat them. The fur tribe does not eat the meat of furry mammals, which is a problem of racial nature. Although Shaq is a shark fisherman, he has no concerns about eating fish. Kate is different. Forcing her to eat furry mammals is the same as forcing a human to eat humans. This is also the source of the whip marks on her body. The Tianlong people just want to see her eat food she doesn't want to eat. However, she didn't eat a bite even if she was beaten all over. In the end, she was put on the cleanup list by the Tianlong people who lost interest and became one of the prey. In the eyes of the Tianlong people, there is no difference between cat fur and domestic cats. A disobedient cat should be killed directly. Are you familiar with the fur tribe? A little bit. If you feel there is any offense, you can say it directly. Oren did remember some things about the fur tribe, but even if there were no such things, he felt that a cat would not normally refuse fish. No, I just think you are very different from those humans. In the minds of the fur tribe, humans are also members of the fur tribe, belonging to the hairless monkey fur. Kate used to think so, until her family left Zou a year ago and met the slave-hunting team of the celestial dragons, and was hit hard by reality. Zou's back is relatively safe, but Kate's heart is born with some problems, and Zou's medical conditions cannot solve this problem, so their family will go out to find a doctor. Unfortunately, not long ago, her father found an opportunity on a full moon night and tried to escape with his wife and daughter. Under the full moon, the fur tribe can use the ability called the Moon Lion, and they can gain far more power than usual when they are frenzied. Unfortunately, he failed, and eventually completely lost control and died of exhaustion. Not long after that, her mother couldn't stand the blow and chose to commit suicide, but Kate stubbornly persisted, and there was also some luck in it. During that period of time, the celestial dragons wanted an obedient cat, and finally didn't let her starve to death directly, but Kate had the idea of revenge in her heart. She couldn't forget the ugly smile of the celestial dragon. Although she was the same age as Ginny, her heart was not so cheerful. After all, Ginny had been sold as a slave since she could remember, and she had no impression of her parents, while Kate had a happy family. I admit that humans are diverse. There are all kinds of people. If you are unlucky, the evil of human nature will make people bruised and battered, but I want to correct you. I don't recognize the celestial dragon as a human. So do you think Meow is a human, a cat, or a monster? But when saying this, Kate still maintained a slightly arched posture. That was the instinct of the cats in her body. In a dangerous environment, they would protect their soft abdomen. It can be seen that she did not let down her guard, but in the depths of her eyes, there seemed to be a little expectation. Oran had seen a lot of this kind of eyes. He funded a welfare home in Piltover to adopt war orphans and people who had suffered misfortune throughout the Rune continent. This can cultivate some talents, which is an investment of Oran, although this investment is basically a loss. Some people think that he is just putting on a show, but Oran does not care about this view. He has the ability in Valoran, so he does it if he wants to. He does it within his ability and does not affect himself. He never cares about releasing goodwill. When Oran first came to this city-state, he also relied on the kindness of others to survive, which is also Oran's feedback. If you want me to analyze it from a scientific point of view, I will classify the fur tribe as subhuman, that is, a branch of humans, and the same logic as you classify humans as hairless monkey fur. But from a practical point of view, Kate, you have to understand that the body is just a shell, and the soul consciousness is the foundation. Therefore, under the same appearance, humans are varied. Putting aside the outside, we are equal, but everyone's talents and abilities are different. We are all the same. Cat is the definition of her by the celestial dragons, and monster is the definition from fellow slaves. Moon lion is a skill that needs training to master for the fur tribe. Her father has not mastered this ability, and the price of forcing it is loss of control. Fear comes from the unknown. Because they don't understand that power, people around Kate also have fear of her. She is worried that the celestial dragons will be angry with her because of her, and she is also afraid that she will suddenly go crazy. The environment will change people, and slave life can make a person collapse in a short time. In a year, the huge setbacks in her life have also made her a little extreme. She was a slave who escaped alone, just like Xiong, but Xiong simply escaped with chains. She broke her left thumb in the night, broke free from the handcuffs, and killed a guard before running away. The bandages and splints made of sticks on her hands were made by Oran. Soul of the stars, Meow thinks you are a good person, a different kind of human being, but unfortunately, good people don't live long. It's not auspicious to say such depressing words at this time, but how do you understand the grammar of that title? Olan found that the people he met recently especially liked to give him the good guy card. Xiong was like this, Shaq was like this, and now Kate was the same, and the word Kate said also made him feel strange. Sidilir Oran, isn't your name spelled like this? Meow's father likes to study the stars, so I heard him spell some words. He is also a good man, so when he died, my mother would do the same, but don't be afraid, my parents said that you have to repay a favor. Anyway, I won't live long. It will be a full moon in 3 days. If you are not as unlucky as other good people, I should be able to save you once, but after that, you have to rely on yourself. If you escape alive, for me. Kate was not as taciturn as the bear described. It seemed that she only wanted a result when she asked Oran before. She knew her physical condition very well, and her heart problem even left her with little time to prepare for revenge. The fur tribe has a tradition of not owing favors, and the answer that she recognized also prompted her to make this decision. This tribe is a natural fighting race. As long as there is the bonus of the moon lion, she feels that she can also try to take revenge, or protect others, and go to find her family after the last glory blooms. Seeing that Kate was young and pretending to be an adult here, and wanted to tell her last words solemnly, Oran directly took the dried fish and stuffed it into her mouth. Pause, you may have misunderstood something. I have many professions, including alchemist, and there is a basic principle in this profession, which is also my life principle: equivalent exchange, and life is the most valuable thing. Only life can be exchanged. Your ability and talent are very important and will be a very important part of our escape. You just need to believe in my arrangement. I promise to take you away from here alive. I will tell you how a good person should do things. After discovering Kate, a rare fur tribe, Oran slightly changed his original plan. The talent of this race is very useful to him. Ahem. Meow, don't be a good person. Good people are always bullied, but bad guys can get away with it. If Meow can survive, Meow will be the worst bad guy in the world. After taking out the dried fish, Kate seemed a little moved, but still restrained her appetite and then made her own dream declaration. So, you want to be the world's #1 villain? Well, you can say that. Then what are you going to do? Meow will kill all the bad guys. Then Meow will be the worst. Chapter 9. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dream, one of the mainstream topics on this sea. Due to the limitations of the island environment, many people have never seen the scenes outside the island in their entire lives. Even if the era of pirates has not yet arrived, many people go to sea every year with the expectation of the future. These people are not all pirates, but for ships that go to sea privately, the world government can define them as pirates. Wealth, fame and fortune, in addition to ordinary products of desire, will also give birth to some abnormal ideas in the eyes of ordinary people. For example, Kate wants to be the worst way, and that special logic. This is also the first time Kate has expressed her own ideas. In the group of slaves, she has no friends because of her race, and Zoe's doctor has also sentenced her. In Zoe's closed living environment, the few doctors have a high voice. It is probably equivalent to the people in the Mayan tribe who are judged to be hopeless by the priests. The environment will make the patient feel that the result in the priest's mouth is a fait accompli. Not long after leaving Zoe, she was captured by the slave arrest team. She did not have enough knowledge of the outside world, so she never thought that anyone could change these. Now I say all this, just because I don't want all this to disappear with me in obscurity. At least in her eyes, Orlan is still labeled as a good person. Fill your stomach first. People who starve to death can't realize any dream, not to mention your goal, which is not easy. The definition of good and bad is based on the moral order known to the society and personal cognition. Kate's idea is to eliminate all evil for absolute justice, which is difficult to achieve. Not to mention that the personal force on this sea is very exaggerated. After a simple talk in confirming Kate's current mental state, the group also split up again. The young and strong laborers carried the materials, a small group of people did the earthwork, and Orlan took Shaq, Xiong, and Kate to the location of their ship. The sci-fi style ship shocked the three people, but Orlan didn't care. To be precise, when he came back here again, he was not in a good mood. Olin, is this your ship? What a great ship. I've never seen such a ship in Fishman Island. Is it made of iron? Part of it is, it's no big deal. When we get to Fishman Island, I'll show you a stronger ship. It's a pity for my old friend. Touching the railing on the side of the ship, Oren was a little reluctant, but soon let it go. Olin himself is a very nostalgic person. Even if the things he is used to are broken, he will not throw them away. This ship is the first ship he funded and built in Piltover, and he has experienced many voyages with it. Can't you teleport it away with it? That they have all seen the escape method described by Oren. According to Oren's description, it should be easy to transfer the ship away with it. Yes, but it will take a lot of time. The transmission will make a lot of noise when it is activated. If it is transmitted, it will delay the transfer of some people. Compared with human lives, it is not so important. Let my old friend give those Tianlong people a big gift on my behalf. I will get this account back from these Tianlong people. Xiong, Shaq, help me pack up the things in here and move them out first. Kate, come here with me. Olin has already made up his mind to abandon the ship. After all, he has the ability to build another one. Only some precious materials that are difficult to replicate need to be taken out. Not long after, Oren took Kate to the power room, which is also the core of the ship. The holographic projection equipment that hid the ship before is also running here. Kate, if I remember correctly, the talent of the fur tribe includes discharge. Well, the friction of the fur tribe can generate special static electricity, which the fur tribe will use. Very good, try to catch it to discharge electricity and keep this arrow here. According to Oren's plan, he will soon transform the core of the Hextech flying gate, and this requires a special electric field environment to allow the Hextech crystal to enter stably, but some of the equipment on the ship was damaged during the crossing. The backup power supply system was maintaining the holographic image, and the electric field could only start the human power generation method, but Kate's racial talent can serve as a more stable source. Is that so? Kate's fur began to generate static electricity through friction, and began to transmit current according to Oran's instructions. As the equipment was converted, some current barriers gradually appeared around it, and the equipment also showed that it was operating normally. Yes, this is the state. How long can it last? At this level, if the meow is strong enough, it can keep going. Don't force it, leave enough safe time, this electric field must remain stable. Boom! A roar of explosion came from afar, and at this time, a cloud of black smoke rose in the central area of the Valley of Gods, and the killing activities of the celestial dragons officially began here, even though they were far away. Orlan realized the meaning of the cannon sound. Time is really tight. Let's do a test first. If you feel tired, just say it. Orlan in the cabin began his own attempt, and Ivankov and Ginny outside also heard the cannon sound in the center. Hurry up. The massacre of the celestial dragons will begin in an hour. This is the last safe time. At this time, Ivankov had a cloth around his face and was waving a gun in his hand, directing the craftsmen to move forward like a gangster. However, these people had families and families to carry, so they couldn't move fast. But this place was already somewhat orderly. From the moment the Tianlong people announced the start of the event, the island had turned into a lawless zone. The king who was killed first aroused fear in people's hearts. The Valley of the Gods, which was originally a whole, fell apart almost instantly. People, like the scattered parts, had nowhere to go, but a small part of it is connected in series with Oran as the core. Although it is not precise, it is running wildly. The holographic device moved its position, creating a screen at both ends and above the canyon, temporarily blocking the eyes of people in the distance. An observation post has been set up on a nearby mountain to monitor the situation nearby, with the purpose of issuing an early warning when someone is approaching. Oran took time to interpret the drawings for the craftsman, and a large-scale assembly project also began in the canyon. Oran himself, with the assistance of Kate, transformed the Hex core, silent, depressed, facing the threat of death. They desperately want to grasp this last straw. As the sun rises and sets, the huge machinery gradually takes shape, but the atmosphere in the canyon gradually becomes oppressive. This depression reaches its peak especially when blood emerges from the water source in the cave. I said, can that person really send us out? It's been a few days, and I haven't seen him since he finished explaining the details of the drawing. The two men carried a huge beam towards the flying door frame that had begun to take shape. People on this sea are generally much stronger than normal humans. Workers who often do heavy work can carry heavy objects with bare hands even if they don't have lifting equipment, which also speeds up the progress of the project, but their hearts are still full of worries about the future. Do you think he will run away by himself? Shut up. You are working in shifts. Mr. Olin has not slept for a few days. If he wants to escape on his own, there is no need to worry about you guys. He even gave up himself for you guys who have nothing to do with him. Ship. The people in the same group did not answer, but there were angry comments from the side. The people here are originally gathered together temporarily. Although they have the same goal, they don't have much trust in each other. The people who gathered later could not see Olin's figure for several days, and they inevitably had doubts in their hearts, but those people who were rescued by Olin before trusted Olin more. These days, they are also maintaining the order here and maintaining relative stability here. Shaq is an example. He could not forget the first human to praise him, and he also consciously defended Oran. Okay, stop talking and send the things over quickly. The project over there will be finished soon. Someone in the same group pushed him to stop him from quarreling with Shaq, but Shaq could clearly feel that the man was a little unconvinced. Just as he was about to go up and argue, he was stopped by Xiong, who was attracted by the quarrel. Shaq, now is not the time to argue. Oran said, there can be no internal fighting at this time. Hula. Before Shaq could say anything, a tree on the top of the mountain suddenly fell down, causing Xiong and Shaq to stumble. This was an early warning arranged by Oran. Its collapse meant that a celestial dragon had broken into the area. Even moving closer to their gathering place. I'm going to lure them away. I have the highest points, so I should be able to attract their attention. Bear, you. I don't want to see anyone die in front of me anymore. Tell Oran and Ivan for me. The bear put down his belongings and took the initiative to act as a bait, but met Ginny on the way. Bear. Good news, those pirates have finally arrived. When those guys get into trouble, we can take the opportunity to execute Plan 2 and snatch away those prizes. Have you seen Brother Ivan? Oran has been busy for so long, it's time for us to take action. Ginny, who was responsible for monitoring phone bug information, rushed here immediately after receiving the news, but did not see Ivankov. At this moment, Ivankov appeared here with Oran. Hip. I'm here, let me announce the good news. Olan has completed the transformation of the core. As long as the construction of the framework is completed, we can leave this ghost place. That the Tianlong people were approaching the canyon, the pirates were about to land, and the Hex Flying Gate core had been transformed. 3 things were completed one after another, and facing the coming chaos, Oran did not choose to wait where he was. It just so happened that I hadn't figured out where to catch a celestial dragon, and now one is coming to my door. Isn't it just right? Let's go, everyone, it's time to open the stage that belongs to us, if you have the courage. Chapter 10 Who is the hunter? Who is the prey? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Now that the energy core has been transformed, the device can run stably as long as the construction of the outer frame is completed. This only requires a little waiting. After hearing the news, the people in the canyon accelerated their busy pace. They had already seen the finish line and started their final sprint. Ivankov and Ginny did not cancel their original plan. In order to prevent any accidents in the last minute, they planned to take advantage of the time when the pirates rushed in to try to snatch the devil fruit that was used as a prize, but before that, they had to participate in a new hunt, but this time, the identities of hunter and prey had been exchanged. Olan, why don't you take a rest? We can do the rest. The transformation of the energy core is not a physical job, but it is very energy consuming. Kate has fallen asleep at this time. She has reached her limit in maintaining the stability of the electric field, although Oran looks like nothing happened now. Xiong and the others are a little worried. My physical condition is special, and not sleeping for a few days has no effect. If I fall asleep now, I'm not sure when I can wake up. Have you arranged the things I gave you before? Yes, they have arranged them all. Seeing that Oran's attitude was very firm, Xiong and the others did not say anything else. The short time they spent together had already made them understand some of Oran's character. Since persuading him once was useless, there was no point in persuading him again. That's fine. Follow the original plan. But before that, there are some things I want to say. Olan walked to the platform protruding from the rock wall, looked at the people who were still working, picked up a simple loudspeaker and said. I believe you all know that a Tianlong has approached here. You are all very lucky. At least no one has found this place in the past few days. However, in the past days, the Tianlongs have wantonly destroyed your homes and killed your relatives and friends in your land, and the purpose of all this is just for fun. Your good luck today does not mean that your luck will be good in the future. Today I have a way to let you leave here, but who can guarantee that you will not encounter it next time? Is it difficult to resist? You have nothing, and these guys are going to take away your remaining life. Don't you dare to fight once in this situation. The knife is on your neck. Do you still want to reason with them? That the people below temporarily stopped their work, but no one responded, which is not surprising. If shouting a few words could make people want to resist, the rule of the celestial dragons would not have lasted so long. Even if Odin's Horcrux was replaced, the effect would be discounted, as long as they still have the aura of the celestial dragons. Even if they are stranded on a deserted island, few people dare to attack them. Of course, this does not mean that you should attack the Red Earth continent. That would be suicide, but if you do not take action when the opportunity is presented to you, it would be a complete weakness. Now a murderer is outside. Is there anyone? Are you willing to take revenge? Silence is still the majority, but this time, there are scattered people who stand up. Most of them are slaves, and a few are locals whose relatives died outside. Compared with the total number, there are very few, but this is a beginning. As long as the myth of the celestial dragons is broken and their blood is used as nutrients, the seeds will take root and sprout sooner or later. Report to Saint Eladin. Saint Grimgoo has ordered everyone to return to the base immediately. This game is temporarily suspended. Does Grimgoo really think he is the boss? Does the Figolando family want to order me? If I also participate in the election, his position should be mine. A man dressed in a black suit and dressed as an agent knelt in front of a masked man with a jeweled den mushy, his tone full of respect. There were several people dressed in the same way around, but there was no sign of the navy, because this was a hunt for the celestial dragons, and they only needed to bring some scorekeepers and obedient hounds to find prey for them. The navy wanted to be their dog, but they might not be qualified. Saint Eladin, the phone said that pirates were approaching here, so. The agent did not respond to Eladin's words. The celestial dragon's own words were nothing. If he interrupted, he might be executed directly. A bunch of trash. Are those navy men just eating for free? If they can't even do this little thing, what's the use of them? You're right, then we'll go back immediately after searching this area. The points are still a little short. Grimgoo is not afraid that I will surpass him, so he did this. You trash, don't be idle, go find the traces of prey for me. Remember, you are not allowed to touch my prey, otherwise I will execute you all. Yes. Although Eladin was not convinced, he still followed Grimgoo's arrangement and prepared to go back. There are also high and low status among the celestial dragons, and Grimgoo is now undoubtedly a leader. It's okay to complain, but if he ignores the other party, Eladin will also be punished by the celestial dragons. Eladin hasn't encountered high-scoring prey in the past few days, which makes him feel bad. If the points are too low, he will be laughed at by his family when he goes back. Just when he was thinking about this, the goddess of luck seemed to favor him. Saint Eladin. We have made a great discovery. It's the SR-level slave of the Bacanian tribe. That the bear still took the initiative to act as bait. The celestial dragon's definition of him also made the bear the easiest person to attract firepower. Chase him. If you lose him, you'll use your head as a substitute. Ordinary people think that the celestial dragons cannot resist. Similarly, the celestial dragons also have a kind of confidence that no one dares to resist them. Eladin never thought that someone would dare to set a trap against the celestial dragons on the island. In his eyes, the bear was just a rabbit worth 10,000 high points. With his familiarity with the surrounding terrain, the bear quickly led them into a nearby canyon, and Eladin followed closely behind under the leadership of his loyal dog. Looking at the bear standing motionless at the end, he felt that the bear had no way to escape. Little ghost, don't run away. Let me kill you quickly, so that you can suffer less. Because there will be extra points for a one-hit kill, Eladin did not intend to torture the bear, but the bear ignored him and disappeared again with a turn. This time, without Eredin's instructions, the agents beside him immediately chased forward. They did not realize that mechanical lotus flowers had quietly bloomed in the fallen leaves under their feet. Crack. An agent stepped on the lotus flower, and as the trigger device was activated, the scattered lotus flower quickly closed like a trap, firmly imprisoning it, and purple energy began to gather at the root of the lotus flower.